For our cabbage, we're going to do a pan-seared cabbage that's then braised. And what I like to do for this dish is I like to keep the core intact. This helps keep the outer leaves of the cabbage together as they're connected to the core. So what I'll do is I will wedge my cabbage, and the size of the wedges will depend on how big my cabbage is and also how many people I'm trying to serve. If I have a half a head of cabbage and I'm only serving 4 people, I'll just make 4 wedges. If I have more than that, I'll maybe make the wedges smaller. If you make smaller wedges, the wedges will cook quicker. So if you have different size wedges, you need to monitor how you're going to cook it. So having uniform size wedges is the easiest thing to do here. So once you have all your cabbage cut into wedges, we're going to move towards braising them. You'll want to start with a nice large pan, and you'll get some oil going in that pan. And as your pan heats up, you want to make sure that your oil is fairly hot. We need to get this cabbage seared. The point of having a larger pan is to make sure that you can fit your cabbage into the pan. If your pan is smaller, not all the cabbages will fit at the same time, so you have to do it in multiple stages. That's the case for me. So on this first round, I've seared them. I probably could have gone a little bit harder, but my pan was taking a really long time to heat up, and to be honest, I was impatient. So I'm going to season these with salt and pepper, and then what I'm going to do is once I take those out, I'm going to add a little bit more oil and then add the second round of cabbage in. So the first round of cabbage I did were thinner cabbages, and these are the thicker cabbages. So I did that for a reason, and the reason is I'm going to start with these thicker cabbages, then I'm going to start braising them, and then I'm going to add the thinner cabbages back in. So once these have seared, and this is a much stronger sear, I'm going to season them, and then I'm going to add in some of our cooking liquid. Once the cooking liquid's in, I'm going to add our lid to help steam those cabbages. Now, once these larger cabbages have steamed for maybe about 3 or 4 minutes, I'm going to take off the lid, and I'm going to check the cabbages and see how they're doing. As the cabbage cooks, they become translucent. If we look at these leaves, these cabbages are not done yet. So I'm going to put the lid back on and let those steam for a little bit longer. As those steam, I'm going to take the lid off again, and I'm going to add the smaller cabbages so that these can finish cooking. So what I've done is I've staggered the way that my cabbages are cooking. These larger cabbages needed more time, so I cooked them longer and then added my smaller cabbages. I also need to add a little bit more liquid here as I've basically boiled off the rest of it. And that's okay. If you need more liquid, just add more liquid. If you run out of liquid in your pan, it'll start to re-sear that cabbage, and you could have the potential of it sticking or burning. As this is steaming, I can take off my lid and I can check my cabbage. So if you look at these smaller cabbages on top, you can see that the leaves are fairly translucent. So I'm going to pull those off. You can also see that a lot of my cooking liquid has gone away, which is great. So once I have all these cabbages done, I'm just going to take them out and I'm going to get them ready to plate for our dinner.